One of the things that we also intended to do last night was to have a special ceremony inducting one of our special members into a special group called the Hall of Fame. And helping us do this is Nick Nabat and a few others. So I'd like to have the members of this presentation committee come to the podium at this time. Tom? Who else is Chris? Huss? If you guys just stand behind me for a sec. And Jay's going to go first, after Nick. You don't get to get into the Hall of Fame just by showing up. You don't get to get into the Hall of Fame just by being a member or being in this industry for 20 or 30 years. You do, however, get to get into this very, very special group of people by dedicating yourself to doing the right thing, not only for the company you work for, but for the industry and in particular this association. So it's my distinct honor to introduce the presentation group that's going to induct our member, Alan Drazen, into the Hall of Fame. Nick Nabat.
Good morning. This year's IAICDV Hall of Fame inductee is Alan Drazen, aka Mr. Choco Taco. In the sake of conserving time, I'm just going to skip my note because we don't have really that much time, but I just read the IAICDV Hall of Fame mission statement. The Hall of Fame is inductee is chosen not by the virtue of their personal success and achievements. Rather, they are chosen for their significant contribution to this association and ice cream industry at large. And having known Alan for the past 30 years, both as a friend and as a colleague, I could simply say that Alan exemplifies, signifies, and truly fulfills this statement. Mr. J. Schwartz.
Thank you. I don't know if Bruce would allow me to say one word before I talk about Alan. I just want to say I think that this meeting this year, this association, has been run so well, and I think that the board deserves a great hand, and Bruce especially, for running this board the way it was this year. Now, Mr. Alan Drazen. I'll tell you how I met him. 44 years ago, a Sunday I was working around 2 o'clock getting ready to close, and the phone rings. Who is it? I said, my name is Alan Drazen. I work for the Good Humor Company, and I need dry ice. We sold dry ice. So I said, Alan, I'm almost ready to close. He said, can you wait? I said, all right, I'll wait for you. That was probably one of my better decisions in my life. Anyway, Alan came down. We talked for a while, and he said, I'm leaving Good Humor at the end of the season. And I said, you have another job? He said, no. I said, well, why don't you come and see me when the season's over? I said, I think I might have something good for you. So anyway, Alan came to us, and of course he's still here today, 44 years later. So it was a good move on my part, a good move on his part. Alan is more than just an employee. I want you all to know that. Alan's a special person. He got me involved in golf. He got me involved in horseback riding. He got me involved in this. We traveled all over the country. Anytime we needed Alan to do something, he was there. For this committee, what he has done for the last 42 years, I think he's been here. I don't think you've missed a meeting, have you, Alan? Where are you? I don't think you've missed any meetings. So let's say he's been here about 42 years. And what he's done on all the committees, we couldn't ask for more. So I just wanted to say, Alan, we thank you with Jack and Jill. I thank you personally for everything you've done here. And this association thanks you a lot. You are certainly one of the most deserving people for this award. They get have congratulations. Thank you.
Members, guests, and especially you, Alan. My father, Tom Renwald Sr., prepared this, and I'm going to give this on his behalf. Alan Drazen has often contributed his services to the association. I was present at one of Alan's very special accomplishments. There was a desperate situation. The association was contacted by a member for assistance in fighting the passage of an ordinance that would ban street vending in a major suburb of Chicago. The association secured Alan's gracious acceptance of the challenge, and he flew to Chicago. Alan, upon arrival, was informed that the matter was already in its second reading, at which no public participation was allowed. Alan's request to speak before this issue was decided and denied. Alan began a verbal campaign for an opportunity to speak. Security was contacted. They were ready to throw him out, but they finally relented. In hindsight, it has since become apparent to me that when they seated Alan the 5 minutes to speak, the game was over. The council did not know who they were dealing with. Alan proceeded to arouse the local citizens who filled the courtroom to enthusiastically support street vending. The result of Alan's presentation was a 5-0 vote to kill the new ordinance. What a remarkable achievement. Alan was met on arrival with an absolute brick wall-like resistance. Nobody was allowed to speak. The councilmen had all pre-decided the outcome, and they were poised to vote the vending ban into law. Alan's negotiating prowess, his persistence, and his clever arguments overcame everything. Watching Alan negotiate and eventually win was watching a master at work. Alan Drazen's masterful performance that day was worthy of his elevation to the Hall of Fame.
Good morning, everybody. It's an absolute tremendous honor to be up here having a small opportunity to recognize Alan Drazen. And if you've known Alan like I have, and so many of you have, you know how extremely well-deserved this award is. If we had time, I could give you 5 or 6 personal stories of significant work that Alan has done on our behalf that has pioneered our industry to where we're at. I want to share one, because I just don't have enough time to share them all. But I think it's very relevant to where we're at now. I think it's very relevant to everything the board is working on currently. And it goes back to a time when this association was called the International Association of Ice Cream Vendors. And there was a pivotal, and I mean an absolute pivotal decision in our history to decide over whether distributors as members would be formally included. Now, I could ask every distributor in this room to stand up, and we could all see the fact that we're all distributors. But at that particular time, flashing back in history, this was not a clear-cut decision. There was significant, passionate beliefs on both sides People felt that we had a heritage. People felt we had a future. The vote was certainly 50-50, perhaps 60-40 against. I remember being in the room, and I can remember thinking, I don't know if it's a good idea to bring distributors in. And then Alan stood up. And he didn't have much prepared, but he spoke about a vision for our group and what he saw. And his credibility as being a good humor operator and a longtime vendor quickly rallied all the historic vending companies. And on that day, we passed that motion thanks to Alan's passionate plea. And today, I don't think we would even be here but for that pivotal decision. These are moments in time that occur, a change is made, and we move on. But when you look back on it, you realize, well, what if we hadn't done that? What if Alan hadn't raised his hand, stood up, and made the case? I don't think we'd be here. I think we owe a tremendous debt of service to Alan, and I can't thank him enough. On a personal level, and I could give you other examples, where we would be without Alan's perpetual legal education and defense fund. I mean, a million examples of things that I don't think we'd be here without Alan. That's clear in my mind, but I think on a personal level, I want to thank Alan. He's been a brother to me. I love Alan. He's always taken me under his wing and mentored me, and I can't thank him enough, and I'm just glad I get a chance to honor him today. Thank you, Alan.
Good morning. Somebody this morning asked me, what are you going to say about Alan? I said, I didn't prepare anything, because when you talk about your brother, your friend, your mentor, you don't need notes. You can talk volume. Alan has been there for me, for every president that ever took the responsibility for this organization. Alan is always there for everybody. Especially the new members, please reach out to him. He is the wealth of knowledge. He is, with no condition, volunteer to do anything you need. He's a man of honor. He's a good brother. He's a good member. He's an inventor, and many, many other things. Alan, we love you.
It's my pleasure to call Mr. Alan Drazen.
I'm really humbled. I'm really fortunate that, going back about 40 years ago, Jay invited me to come to this association, which was a completely different association than it is today. And along the way, both Jay and Ken have been very supportive of me, lending a hand to try to perpetuate and grow the association and make it what it is today, which is, really, when you looked around last night and saw probably 250 or more people interacting together, really enjoying each other's company, it's really been an amazing ride. We are stronger today than we've ever been, and I'm very proud, for a little role that I played in that, because I really have enjoyed working with all of my fellow members to try to do the right thing to keep this association moving forward. I had a couple things, and I'm not going to take a lot of time because I know I appreciate that we have a full schedule today. I'm going to quote former U.S. President John Quincy Adams, who once said that if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, then you're truly a great leader. Well, I think that's a lot of what's come out of being a part of this association for me and for many others. But in particular, I'm really fortunate because I was inspired by Jay and then Kenny to dream more, to do more, to learn more, and to become more. And it's been an amazing, amazing ride. Nick, when he opened up, referred to me as Mr. Choco Taco. I'm proud that of my accomplishment with a Choco Taco, but none of that could have been accomplished, that or all the other things that I feel like I've accomplished in my career, without Jay and Ken being very supportive of my creativity and freedom, to kind of do my thing and be who I am. So I think that's allowed me to do more and to be more and be a better person. So I thank them. My wife and son left last night, but I have to mention them as well because they've been a great support mechanism, especially when I've traveled for the association or just needed a little uplifting. And that's really about it. Thank you all. I travel around the country. I have friends who I get to stay with or visit with wherever I go, and they're great friends. So to the board, you've done a great job. To the Hall of Fame committee, thank you so much for awarding me with this honor. To my friends who were up here today and had some kind words to say about me, thank you all very much. And Bruce, awesome job. Keep it going. Thank you.
I told the board last night, if anything goes right, you can say thank you to me, and if anything goes wrong, see Alan. But all kidding aside, there's so much detail behind putting together and running this association, and we are fortunate to have people like Alan. You heard the comments. He travels. He's checking out with Amanda and Kim and Angie the hotels that we're going to be using in years from here, and he'll go in his own time. And I thank Kenny and Jay for providing Alan to do what he loves to do. So again, congratulations, Alan.